Hi, good evening, and welcome to another episode of Meet the Populace. My name is Lady Vinkataviani, and I'm your host. Tonight, we're pleased to present Baroness Michaela and Baron Rannulf. They've decided to join us for an interview. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening.
So we're going to start off with, I just gave you a really short little introduction there, but why don't you tell the audience what your full SCA name and title is, and where about in the known world that you play?
Well, I'm Michaela de La Chesnaye de Bois, Baroness of the Court of Kellock and Vukasin. I play primarily in Northwoods.
I'm Baron Rannulf de Albret, also a Baron of the Court of Kellock and Vukasin. I play in mundanely known as Lansing, Michigan, or the Barony of the Canton of Old Nordwuda. It was originally the original Barony of Northwoods.
Well, welcome and thank you for joining us. So, how long have you actually been playing in the SCA? Have you been around for a while?
Yeah, I started, I don't know what the AS is. The actual year was 1990. So this marks my 30th year.
And I was the fall of 1993.
Wow. So you've been around for quite a while. How did you first learn about the SCA and what drew you to it?
Well, for me, it was that I was going out to MSU. I just finished up my degree out there, but registration had everybody going through the IM West building, and the local SCA group had a demonstration out in front of that building. Every student had to go through there, so it was a perfect spot for it. So the armor and the fighting, that got my attention.
One of the folks in my D&D group found the SCA on MSU campus, and she brought me in. And we're both still members. Her name is Lucia Greenstone in the SCA. So we both still play.
Okay, so now you have two different start years and two different stories of how you found the SCA. So did you meet through the SCA?
Yes. Do you remember meeting me at my first event, or I think it was the one after that? He remembers meeting me. I was so overwhelmed. I didn't remember meeting him. But
the first time that I met her was it was an event called, I believe it was Samhain. And it eventually became What in a Samhain. And it was a split event. We had the turf arena at MSU where we had, the day activities, and then we went to a church basement for the evening feast and evening activities such as dance. And I was helping run it, and I remember she came in, never seen it before. She came up to the troll table and says, "Okay, what can I do? What can I do to help?"
I don't remember it.
So what's the first event that you do remember seeing him at? Or really noticing him?
It wasn't an event, it was at our meetings. The local chapter used to have weekly meetings on MSU's campus where we would have business and an activity, a presentation of some kind, and dancing afterwards. And I remember noticing him at those events, thinking he was kind of cute. It was at a Val Day that he realized he had fallen in love with me while we were dancing.
Yep.
Really? Well, that's quite a story. So when we're talking about stories, do you have one that you particularly like to share? Something memorable?
we have a lot of stories, and I don't think you have enough time to hear them all.
Just pick one for us that you like.
Do you have one?
You got one? You can
Well,
start.
one of my favorite stories happened at one of my earlier Pensics, so probably 95 or 96. It was late in the evening. I was heading back to camp up the hill, up Mount Iceland, up in the E-Blocks. And at that point, the edge of the battlefield along the main road into Pensic was used as a parking lot. So the road, when you cross the road, you're amidst the cars. There was a lot of rain, of course, and lots of mud puddles. I had crossed the road. I was in a little pathway. I had cars on either side of me parked, and there was a huge puddle in front of me. I had my skirts in one hand, my basket in the other, and I'm kind of wandering back and forth, figuring out how am I going to get across this big pond, when out of nowhere, I'm scooped up, carried across the puddle with one arm by this fighter. He puts me safely on the other side, never broke stride, never said a word, just kept right on walking. Rescued me and disappeared into the night.
Did you ever figure out who it was?
No, I had no idea. I was so stunned. But it was one of those moments where it's like, this is the SCA.
You know what? Much more practical than the old lay the cloak over the puddle thing.
Exactly. He didn't have to mess up his clothes, and it was great.
Well, let's see. The other story we like to tell, especially to people that have a passing familiarity with the SCA, is another Pensic story. It was before a field battle. It was a foggy morning. So if you were standing in the center of the field, you could just barely see, the forces on one side, and they kind of disappeared in the mist, and the forces on the other side kind of disappeared into the mist. And one of the bagpipers from Volgamut was busy, he was marching up and down one side of the field playing the bagpipes. And it was one of those, eerie moments where you just think, oh my God, this is so awesome.
Just the sound of the bagpipes drifting through the fog.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool.
As part of the magic of the SCA, it's wonderful when moments like that happen. That makes it all worth it.
Yeah, you were just transported. It was magical.
Yeah.
So in your time in the SCA, what's something that you're really proud of, whether it's an accomplishment or something you've created? What really, warms your heart and you think, yeah, I did that.
Well, for me, it was when Princess Noelle asked me to make her coronation garb. And so I made her a red velveteen coat hardy with a train and tippets, and got to go to coronation down in Columbus.
Yes.
Was it Columbus? And see her crowned queen wearing the clothes that I had made for her. That was really exciting.
And a lot of people know me by my armor, so I guess, my 14th century armor kit, which has constantly been under construction, reconstruction, remade. So,
and you made
on the field.
And so you've made the whole thing yourself?
I did, yes. Piece by piece.
Wow, that's quite an accomplishment.
Sabatons, greaves, cuisses, band braces, rear braces, shoulder cops, breastplate, backplate, knee cops. Look at me naming all the armor pieces.
Doing better than I would. So if somebody were considering, making their own armor, what's a little bit of advice you would give them before they started?
Find some play somebody where you can try it out first. I have accumulated a lot of tools over my career, and I can, I could tell somebody, give you some advice. Well, invest in this, don't invest in that. You need this, you don't need that. And before you start and into this hobby, into this craft, you might want to get an inkling of what goes into it.
We've had many, many people over the years come out to take advantage of Rannulf's armory, and they're all excited. They want to make real metal armor, just like an actual 14th century knight. They're very excited. And a few hours later, they leave and we never see them again because it's a lot of work. It is an incredible amount of pounding and shaping and fitting, and people just don't have a concept of the hours and hours it takes to perfect a piece of armor. Wow.
Yeah, I don't believe that I would ever even attempt it. I love watching it. I've seen it in process, but it looks like a lot of work.
Well, you see these videos on YouTube now, somebody making a bunch of armor, and eventually there's always a spot in there where they do a time lapse thing and they speed it up, or you see only like one, picture every 20 seconds or a minute or something. So this guy's hammering like crazy, and it eventually gets done and he shows you what he's accomplished, and you're like, oh, I can do that. You can.
Wow.
It's just time lapsed.
So you were saying that you kind of feel like you're known for your armor in the SCA. Michaela, what do you feel like you're known for in the SCA?
My 14th century garb and dance. It was my garb that actually caused Noelle to ask me. Apparently, Alaric had noticed me in my garb for years, and he actually encouraged her to ask me if I would make her coronation garb. I hadn't realized that I had been that noticed, but I have been. So, and of course, dance. For years and years and years, we would go to an event, and the first thing out of people's mouths were, "Oh, good, there's going to be dancing because you're here." And it's like, well, it wasn't our event, but okay, sure, I guess we can,
oh yeah,
run dance.
We had the tape case and the boom box we always
Oh
brought.
my gosh, yeah. Before all the music could be put on the little bitty thumb drive or whatever.
Yeah, MP3s.
We had the big box of tapes, and gosh, we'd buy a DVD or a CD rather to get one danceable track out of.
Yeah.
It was years collecting, and now people can just rip hours of music from the internet.
Oh yeah, they all have it on their phone. Oh well.
So now, for a while, you two together, you ran a dance guild, did you not?
Yes. We started the dance guild in August of 1998 at the insistence of a group of people who we were dancing with regularly every Friday night. They wanted to have a more formal structure to learn dance. And their first request was that we form a household. And we were both members of households at that time, and we did not wish to form our own. So we compromised and told our friends that we would form a guild. And we were active for 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, technically we're still a guild, but we no longer have a place where we practice every week. So we're kind of a sleeper guild. But yeah, we taught people how to teach dance.
You're on a temporary hiatus.
There we go. That sounds good.
There we go. So now, in your time in running the Salvatores Dance Guild, what's your proudest moment for the guild?
Well, as a guild, we received the Award of the Grove, and we received a Purple Freddy. So we were recognized for both our art and our service. Felix and Madalena, when they were Prince and Princess, asked us to teach them a dance that they could perform at their coronation, which unfortunately, due to time constraints, they never actually got to do. But they came to several practices, and we taught them, I think, Marcia Sana, wasn't it? I don't remember.
That's been so long ago.
Yeah, but that was a big honor.
Or we get random people at Penzic saying, "Oh, the Saltatori's Dance Guild, they have a class. I'm going to take that," because they always have people there. Because we didn't require a partner. We would teach people to dance, and we'd have guild members fill in for sets and for partners and stuff like that. So everybody, there was a lot of people that were excited that we were out there teaching. So
That's, that's actually pretty awesome. I was in Saltatori's off and on for a while, and I really missed that because it was so much fun to be involved in your dance. I just wanted to let you know that that was actually a great thing, that while I could still do it, I was driving an hour and a half just to dance with you guys.
Yeah, thank you. I remember those days. I was actually looking through our membership list the other day, and I saw your name on there.
Well, hopefully we can get it going again at some point. So if somebody, though, watching this were interested in getting involved in dance, what advice would you have for them at this point? Because it seems like there's not a lot of dance going on around. Where would you point them?
The Cinnabar group is still active. They have a place on their campus, the Ann Arbor campus, where they still have dance.
Okay. Well, it's good to know that there's somebody still out there keeping it alive. So.
Yes, unfortunately, it's not like the old days. Like my first event, there was fighting and classes and a baronial court and a feast, and everybody danced in the evening. That was how the evening ended. Everybody did everything. It was it was all encompassing, and everybody stayed for the whole thing. And I know now the society is aged and people have children, and oftentimes they come for the fighting and they leave. But that was one of the things that really drove me to the SCA, was the level of involvement of everyone. Everyone danced. Everyone took classes. Everyone partook in feasts, either by eating or by serving or cleaning up. It's not quite the same anymore.
So if you wanted to encourage more of, well, I'm a little self-centered, I love dance. So if we wanted to encourage something like a little more involvement in dance, how do you think that could be accomplished?
that's a good question. It's something we've been asking ourselves for quite a while. We used to give newcomers the following advice. Go somewhere, do something, be somebody. And go somewhere, go to an event, whether it's local, whether it's, out of town, doesn't matter. Do something, find a hobby, find a craft, an art, or something that you like to do, investigate it, do a little research, and then be somebody. Research not only your craft, but somebody that might have lived back then. Have a basic persona that you'd like to pursue. And from that, I think we can get more people interested not only in the SCA, but also in different aspects of it. Because you reach out to somebody, hey, I do this. And they might reply back, that kind of dovetails with what I'm doing here. So get that interconnectedness going, maybe.
It does feel like things are definitely different. I started back in the 90s, and I've seen a lot of changes, but I've been to a lot of different areas. So maybe we can find a way to help revive some of the love of some of the things that are getting left behind. We can cross our fingers and hope.
Yes, that would be very nice.
All right, well, we're almost out of time, so I wanted to thank you both again for being here. This has been Meet the Populace with Baroness Michaela and Baron Rannulf. And if you wish to communicate with Meet the Populace or Children of the Dragon, please contact me at the email address on the bottom of your screen. Your Excellencies, thank you so much for joining me this evening.
Thank you. It was good seeing you.
Thank you.
It was good.